I'm getting ready to sell my house in Cincinnati, and I want to get the most amount of money, the least amount of hassle, and I want to sell it as fast as possible. What do I need to do? In this video, we're going to give you 6 tips to get your house ready to sell in Cincinnati. Alright guys, hey, welcome back. This is Eric Sztanyo from Team Sztanyo.com and Keller Realty, where we are helping you build a bridge to your future real estate dreams. And if you've watched some of our other videos, you know that it's a great time to sell. The markets are up, the inventory is down, the average home price in Cincinnati in most markets is up, and so you've been thinking about it. You want to sell your house, and that's a big decision, and there's a lot of things to do. And so what we're going to talk about in this video is what to do to get your house ready to sell. And there's a large scale in terms of getting your house ready and trying to get the most for it, essentially. So on one end, you're working really hard to prep that house so that it shows great, so that when people walk through, they're like, oh my gosh, I want this house now. On the far other end of the scale is you're like, look, I'm not doing any work. I know the house needs work, but I'm selling it as is, right? I don't care what the inspection says. I'm not doing a thing. So that's over here. We're going to be focusing over here, okay? Which is if you want to get the most amount of money for your house, if you want to compete against the other homes that are out there on the market, and if you want to sell faster, and you want to price it aggressively where it might be in the higher end of the competition that's out there in the market, and you want the least amount of hassle in terms of the selling process where you would have as few amount of showings as possible, then what are the things that you should do to get your house ready to sell? So we've got 6 tips coming at you right now. Okay, step number 1 to getting your house ready to sell in Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky is get rid of the clutter, okay? This is always kind of the first step when you're getting the house ready to clean, is first of all the stuff that's laying out that's unnecessary that you can either throw away or donate or put away or store or whatever you need to do, just get it out of sight. All of that stuff that's on the counters, all of the stuff that's laying around, you want to go pro minimalism, right? You want to think as clean and as empty of a space as possible. So that's tip number 1. We talked about this in other videos, but get rid of the clutter. So put the knickknacks away, keep the floors clean, open up the windows. It's okay if the coffee maker is on the counter, but clean out all your counters as much as possible. Just tidy everything up and only have out the minimal amount of things it needs to actually live in a house, right? Okay, step number 2 is pre-pack what you can. So if you're selling your house, you're going to be moving somewhere anyway. So the idea here is go ahead and start packing up in boxes. You can clean up clothing, that's seasonal that you're not using right now. Get away books, DVDs, anything, all the junk. This kind of goes along with get rid of the clutter, but you're pre-packed, all the stuff you actually want to take with you to the next place, right? Go ahead and pack up now. It might be a really good idea to go ahead and rent a storage unit for a couple $100 and start moving that stuff into storage for a few months so that you can get it out of the house. Again, you want to make that house as open, as warm, as inviting, and as clean as possible. So that's step number 2 is go ahead and pre-pack what you can now. Okay, step number 3 is do a double deep clean. So you've probably been cleaning already, and when you're selling your house, this can be a hassle. You got to keep it clean. But if you've done step number 1 and step number 2, which is get rid of the clutter and pre-pack some items, it should be a lot easier to clean. Now, we're not talking just about vacuuming now. We're talking about cleaning the carpets, cleaning the blinds. Go deep. Scrub the things that you don't normally scrub until get that tile to sparkle. You want to be able to show your house in its best possible light. So give it roll up your sleeves, hang out on the brush, or hire someone to do a really deep clean, deeper than you would normally do on a week in, week out basis. Okay, step 4, after you've tidied up, you've pre-packed things, you've done a deep clean and everything's sparkling, is get fresh paint on the walls. Now's a great time. If you got any holes in the walls, or if you're taking down family photos, you can do a little putty work and sand the walls, and then get a fresh neutral paint on the walls. If you've got trim, it'd be great to highlight with maybe a bright white clean with a neutral color. You especially want to focus on the main living areas, so the places where people are going to walk into the house first. Let's say you've got every wall in your house is a different color. Focus on the living room, the dining room, the kitchen. Then you might be able to make your way into the bedrooms, but focus in those main areas first. And we're telling you, in terms of the house being able to show and people, it feeling bright and welcoming and people being able to see themselves in the space, it doesn't cost a whole lot other than your time, but go ahead and get fresh neutral color paints on the wall. It'll really help your house show better. Okay, tip number 5 is make sure you're taking care of the yard, right? You want to have really good curb appeal. When people first pull up to the house, they go like, whoa, I like this. I can see myself living here. So you want to get all the weeds out. You want to make sure the lawn's taken care of. It's summertime right now. Make sure you have fresh mulch down. Make sure that you can see all the windows. If you've got any hedges or trees that are covering up your windows, you might want to trim those back so that everything's bright and showing. Maybe put in some flowers. A good curb appeal, spending a little time on your landscaping can go a long way. So make sure you especially take care of that front yard so that when people are walking up for the first time, they're like, oh my gosh, it looks great. And then they're coming into that clean, open, fresh painted, welcoming space. Okay, and the last tip, number 6, is follow the advice of your real estate agent. Okay, they've walked through hundreds, if not thousands of homes before. They know what people want to see. If they have some advice about what to do in the house, listen. You don't have to do it, but make sure you're listening to the advice. Now, they may or may not bring in a staging company to help you stage the house as well. And then again, this all depends on kind of the price point of your home. It depends on how competitive you're trying to be. If you're trying to get top dollar, make sure you're listening to the advice of your real estate agent, or make sure you're working with a staging company so that you can be sure to put your house in the best possible light there is, right? You can put your best foot forward and you'll be able to, again, the whole goal behind this is to sell your house for as much money as possible in as little time as possible with as little hassle as possible. I know it seems like to do all this stuff on the front end sounds like a lot of work and a lot of hassle, but if you want the sale to go quickly and you want to get top dollar for your home, you're going to want to make these investments because they'll show up in the price and the offer that you get, versus if you have a cluttered house that's dark, the landscaping is not taken care of, there's stuff everywhere, people are going to bid a lot lower because they think they can. They're going to give you more of a lowball offer in that scenario. So it's worth it to put the time and energy into it now so that you can sell your house and get the most out of it. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. We hope you liked this video. If you did, subscribe. We got all kinds of great content coming your way. If you need help selling your house in Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky, give us a call at Team Sztanyo at 513-813-6293, or check out our website, teamsztanyo.com, for more info. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.